What's going on, guys? Billy here, and this week at CES 2019 we saw a ton of great tech on the horizon. Things like artificial intelligence, 5G, self-driving cars, 8K televisions, even 8K small pocket cinema cameras, as crazy as that sounds. But the one thing that I was the most excited to check out was the drones, and I left feeling a little bit underwhelmed at what was shown on the floor. So last year when I went to CES in 2018, I feel like there was something new to cover every single day. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to capture every single thing. But this year, I feel like I saw everything I needed to in one day. I would say that in terms of drone-related products, the only new big thing that is even worth talking about is the DJI Smart Controller that operates over that OcuSync 2.0 transmission system. Another noteworthy drone from DJI that I got my hands on was the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual that features both a FLIR camera and a standard 12-megapixel RGB camera, although I couldn't actually fly it. It was just kind of sitting there at their booth. Now, I did make a full video covering that new Smart Controller yesterday if you guys want to go ahead and get a more in-depth sense at what this thing can actually do, but because of the lack of material to cover at CES, I figured I'd make a video like this one talking about the lack of innovation in the drone space from CES 2019 and how it could possibly reflect in the future. Before I get any deeper into this video, I should probably clarify that CES is the consumer electronics show, so there wasn't many crazy commercial type drones on display, although Stampede, which is a drone dealer, actually had a few on display, which I'll show you briefly. But besides that, there really wasn't all that many other commercial drones. In my opinion, this commercial space is where a lot of the innovation is coming from, and then slowly trickles down to the consumer level drones. But on display here at the Consumer Electronics Show, there really wasn't all that much new. So the heavy hitters of the drone industry that were present at CES 2019 were DJI, Autel, PowerVision, and Unique. And then there were also some other smaller companies there, which we will get to in a second. But basically, DJI was promoting their entire drone lineup from the Spark all the way to the Inspire 2. Autel was heavily pushing their Evo drone once again with some brand new accessories. PowerVision had some of their submersibles out, as well as two drones that they are currently manufacturing. And finally, Unique, well, they had their drones out as well, but their booth was the definition of underwhelming. Now, I mentioned the submersibles from PowerVision, but they weren't the only ones at CES showing off their aquatic drones, as there was a heavy turnout from companies that I hadn't even heard of before with some pretty cool different designs. I think that just like how drones exploded within the past 2 years, the next industry to do so is the category of aquatic drones. One of the new players in the drone space is X Dynamics, and they brought their Evolve drone to CES 2019. I believe they were also present at CES 2018, but the sad part is I didn't get any hands-on time and no B-roll footage to show you guys of their drone. But I'd highly recommend going and checking out Alderon's video from Flight Path. I'll leave that link down in the description. I was talking to him as well as Ken Dono, Original Dobo, and both of them said this drone looks incredible. It was a smaller booth, so I must have just walked right past it, but basically this drone has got an all carbon fiber build. The full body is carbon fiber, and also it's got interchangeable lenses or interchangeable cameras underneath, so you can put a camera on the bottom that has a micro four third sensor, and the size of this drone is roughly bigger than a Phantom, so that gives you an idea of what the drone kind of looks like. Again, be sure to check out Alderon's video. I'll leave that link down in the description, and I'm really excited to see what comes from them in the future. From what I've described, it probably sounds like CES 2019 was a great time. It was a ton of fun to see drones like the Inspire 2 with the X7, the Mavic 2 lineup with the two Enterprise drones, the Dual and the Zoom. I got to see what Autel had on display, like some of their new accessories, as well as Unique, and then other companies like X Dynamics. But the problem is, a lot of what was on display is tech that's, say, 2, maybe even 3 years old, right? CES 2019 was filled with drone tech that is from like 2017, and my biggest problem is the lack of innovation. Now, I'm not speaking for the rest of the show, because seeing things like artificial intelligence, self-driving technology, the 8K displays and the 8K cameras, all of that stuff is absolutely incredible. But once I stepped into the South Hall and I got all the way back to the drone space, it felt like I was standing at CES 2018 with a lot of the same exact technology. Right now, I would say that there's only two true innovators in the drone space, and that is DJI and Autel. And I'm kind of lumping Autel into this group of innovators just because I would say that they're second to DJI in terms of drone manufacturers. But if I had to choose one single drone manufacturer that's really pushing the boundaries and pushing the limits of innovation, it's DJI, and no nobody's even close to catching them. I mean, they have a drone for everybody on this planet. If you want something just to start out with, they've got the Tello. You can step up to the Spark, the Mavic Pro series, the Mavic 2 series, the Phantom series, the Inspire series, and then the Matrice series. I mean, they have a drone for everybody. They are the true definition of innovation. It's kind of sad because as you walk down into the drone section, you see these booths that are booming with life. There are companies like DJI and Autel, but you walk back 5 booth spaces and you see Unique there, and it's kind of like a lifeless area. Like, not many people are checking out their drones. They had their new Mantis Q on display, but a lot of the space that was taken up was from the Unique Typhoon H520, their commercial line, those orange drones, and they look great. I think that having 6 motors really is beneficial, but the software inside is so dated, and only having a maximum range of 0.99 miles, not even 1 mile, is kind of sad. Another thing I noticed as I walked around the show floor, and I really don't mean to put anyone on the spot here, is cheap drone after cheap drone after cheap drone with no real strive to do something different. Many of them felt light and cheap, and most of the designs are very similar to drones that larger manufacturers would have produced. I don't really know what the goal of some of these companies is, like whether they're trying to make some quick money, or maybe they're trying to gain some sort of traction in the drone industry to then produce bigger drones. But these cheap drone companies that try and say they are different usually come and go, and this is not what I'm talking about when I say innovation. Now, as I wrap up this video, I've got 2 more things I want to go over, with the first one being the lack of competition in the consumer drone space, as DJI is just so dominant, right? So every time you get a brand new drone from DJI, say a new Mavic or a new Phantom, it's great because we've got something brand new to look at, brand new to play with, but with every single release, they sort of suffocate the consumer drone space more and more because other drone companies like Autel and Parrot struggle to actually sell their drones. So again, it's great that we get these brand new drones, but if it's only one company pushing it out, it's kind of like, man, where is everybody else at? And I've said this so many times before, I'm just reiterating it, that it was definitely apparent at CES 2019 that DJI is just totally dominant. Now, because of this dominance, a lot of companies that were at CES 2018 are not at 2019, and one of them in particular is Walkera. I didn't see their booth. They weren't promoting their Vitus foldable drone, but as I was walking around, I saw those 3 huge commercial drones actually produced by Walkera. So I think a lot of these companies are sort of transitioning from this consumer drone space into the commercial drone space, as DJI is just so dominant and these companies just do not want to go head to head with them. Another company in particular is Parrot, who came out the Anafi, but they're really not selling all that well. They've gone through a lot of layoffs. I'm not exactly sure what's happening with them, but they were not present at CES 2019, and I believe they're going to begin to focus more on their commercial line of drones like their Bebop Thermal and a couple of other pro applications that they have. I'm not sure what's going on with them. Kind of sucks because they were just so huge in the toy drone space or the consumer drone space with their Bebop line of drones. Now, there is one more thing I want to finish up with this whole entire video, right? It's a small glimmer of hope. I feel like this entire video I've been negative, so let's end on a positive note. Maybe CES 2019 was kind of a quiet year for brand new drones because nothing was ready to show off, and it's just setting us up for a huge 2019 of brand new drone releases and drone innovation. Last year at CES 2018, DJI themselves were pretty quiet, and then throughout the year they released 5 brand new Mavics: the Mavic Air, the Mavic 2 Pro, Mavic 2 Zoom, the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual, and the Mavic 2 Enterprise Zoom, all of which are great drones, and I just hope that that kind of resembles 2019. They were quiet at CES, and then throughout 2019, they just hit us with a ton of brand new stuff. Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Be sure to let me know what you guys think of CES 2019 down in the comments section. Also, feel free to go ahead and check out my brand new episode of my podcast over on the Overcast podcast channel. I'll leave that linked down in the description. Me and my co-host Ken Dono just talked about CES. It's probably about 25 minutes long. And if you guys want to go ahead and get some more of our opinions from the show, definitely go ahead and listen to that. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.